Hi everyone, welcome to LOOPSIO Yaps 5th episode. For the people that haven't seen the Yaps before, my name is Xuan, and today I'm joined by Simran, who is the co-founder of Finwise School. Simran, it's very good and nice to have you here. And for the people that don't know you yet, would you like to introduce yourself and what Finwise School does?
Absolutely. Thank you very much for having me, Zuan. It's a pleasure. Like you introduced me, I am the co-founder of Finwise School. We are trying to redefine financial literacy in a gamified way. And would you want me to tell a little bit more about my journey?
Yeah, so before Finwise School, what kind of experiences were shaping the way you thought about money and also about education?
Absolutely. So my journey started. I was born in a very small town back in India. Then my parents moved to the capital city, Delhi, for better education. I had always been a great student and I wanted to do extracurricular. So I started volunteering with one of the non-government organization, NGOs, we called it back there, which was called Feeding India alongside my uni. And that's where I came introduction with people who did not even have proper meal, proper education. And that's where I saw that there are so underdeprived and unrepresented communities that I wanted to do. We were doing, helping them, feeding them, teaching them. Then COVID happened and everything was shut down. And it was a disaster because they did not have access to mobile smartphones or desktop or laptops, which caused so much trouble for them. And because their livelihood was like day to day wage dependent on, they stopped earning money and they stuck in the debt trap and on and on. So we used to go them to feed them, but we saw that there is a very big problem compared to what we were addressing. And we started giving them financial education or financial literacy. It was a very small group. We were teaching them, educating them. While we were doing that, we noticed that their mothers who were like dependent on the male member or the head of the family were also interested to taking in charge of their own financials. And we saw there is a very big gap, and we started teaching them more about financial literacy, how they can break their generational curse. They are stuck in a debt trap, and just working on that help them, helping them how to manage their financials, how they can elevate their savings, how they should follow like 50-30-20 rule in order to invest for the future as well. Considering everything, I it was a very good initiative, but we were targeting a very small group, and we realized that it was a very big problem. I decided to pursue my master's in UK, and that's how I met Rakshit for the first time, who is my co-founder. And he, on the other hand, in the parallel world, was working on the same similar project, but he was working directly with government schools back in India in an entirely different geography,
Yeah.
to be really sharing with you. But he was working around the same thing. He was getting like proper professional lecturers to go to schools after school sessions and then teaching them the essence of finance and how they should be at from the very start, learning the habit of saving, investing, and managing their money well so that they are in control of their money. I met him because he was a year senior to me. I reached out to him on LinkedIn asking him an advice for my master's, and that conversation led to another. And he told me about his initiative that he used to do back in India when he was home, and sharing that we shared a common vision. And coming to the UK, we saw that this was not just issue that was only constricted to slum in
Yeah.
India. Rather, it is a global issue because we here on a day-to-day basis talk to people, talk to our colleague, our peers, and our part-time colleagues who were just living on paycheck to paycheck, and the problem was so big we decided to do something about it. And that's how we thought, let's take the advantage of technology
Mhm.
and work towards our goal of making this world a financially literate place so that everybody knows what their money where their money is and they need to do with their money.
Yeah.
Considering that, we started reaching out to the startup support that we had from our university. So we both went to University of Strathclyde, and we had Strathclyde Inspire Hub there. So that is an accelerator program for startups that are but like building within the university. So we reached out to them, we pitched them our idea, and that's how we got our first initiative and first approval that yes, we are working towards something that is much needed in this world. We reached out to really great mentors. They connected us with the right people, and that's how I met Omar for the first time. And he gave us so much insight on how he is building his startup, and we thought that there could be potential synergy between ourselves and Loopsio. Like, we sat down for a meeting, we shared our vision of how we want to build Finwise,
Mhm.
because see, traditional education is always there, but it has not been able to help people in a way to elevate what they need. Like, the knowledge is there, but it is not just getting implemented, and that's the gap we wanted to address.
Mhm.
And the audience that we wanted to address was the people who are getting their first hands on money, like someone who's transitioning through life from high school to uni. They are moving out of their house, they are getting their first hands on money, so that they can know from the start how to manage it and how to elevate in their life with money, and that money not be a reason for them for any of their challenges in life. Considering that, we shared our vision, and that's how Finwise School, the app, was born.
Wow. Initially, when you were talking to Rakshit, what made you both to commit fully to Finwise School? Because at first it was just an idea, maybe like a mere coincidence that you had a shared vision, but what
Yeah.
made you just decide to start this journey together?
I think we both complement each other in a way that we can question each other to the extent that what is right and what is wrong. Uh, so when we first met, we started talking. It was a shared vision. It was a shared problem that we both
Mhm.
saw, and we both were passionate about solving. But that was not just enough for us to commit fully. We decided to do our research. We decided to invest some time, because he had already been graduated, but I had my full-time degree going on and to manage a lot. So we decided to make a strategy. So we decided to divide work, and he took part in the operation and technology side, whereas I was initiating going out to strategy meetings,
Mhm.
building business plans, talking to investors, and that kind of business. So what really got us fully committed to the goal was our shared vision of
Mhm.
solving a global problem. But how we got to it was just like dividing, and like, for my work he would not interfere, and I
Yeah.
would be the decision maker, whereas in his work he would be the decision maker. And that's how we get our car going.
Wow. So how long have you both been doing Finway School? When did you start?
So
Like, what's the
officially
official
Finvoice
date? Yeah.
was born in August 24, but we were like doing the background thesis research, I think start of 2024. So it has been a couple years now.
Wow, that sounds like a very long journey. Um, I was thinking, what made you both think that a gamified approach would be the best idea in order to teach financial literacy?
So, and to be really honest with you, we all would agree on this part that like YouTube videos, textual and other things are already available. So the traditional method is there. The biggest gap that lies is that we are not taught how to manage finance in our high school,
Yeah.
which is a very, very essential thing. No matter which field you go in, whether it be arts, humanities, you want to pursue as an artist or go into medicine or just be like an accountant, for example, you have to manage your own money. So that is a life skill that everyone needs to learn.
Mm-hmm.
And given the current Gen Z, Gen Alpha, the attention span is so low that they cannot focus. We cannot focus much
We
on
cannot.
textual context.
Yeah.
So a gamified approach was to address that particular concern so that
Mm-hmm.
people are not losing their attention span. Now, when we talked about games, this was one of our initial discussions. We could have got those quiz games and other hypothetical things there, but that would not resonate with the person's
Mm-hmm.
life. And that's something we felt that it would just not address the problem very correctly. So when we sat with Omar, Rakshat and I were very vigilant about discussing this in detail. We want to incorporate a person's real life into the app.
Mm-hmm.
A day to day thing that you do that might affect you in the long run. Say every morning I go out, I get a Starbucks coffee for $3.
Yeah.
Uh, that $3 for a day makes it 90 for a month.
True.
People don't understand that. And even though that is increasing your quality of life, but do you actually need that while you are being a student? That's the kind of
Mm-hmm.
situation we wanted to put in front of the people. There is a very famous music artist that is coming to your city for their
Yeah.
concert. Would you want to go there, or would you want to put that money down because your laptop is broken and you really need it for your uni
Yeah. So
assignments?
yeah.
So that's the kind of situation. That's why we thought gamified is the approach, but correct gamification of building their own real life into the virtual world would be the best step forward for us.
Yeah. So I guess the purpose of Finwise School is then like question your financial decisions, like to make sure that you think you're doing the right thing then. And is it like personalized to every person that uses it? Do you mind guiding me through like the features that it has? For example, the avatars, the reward system, like what really makes Finwise School stand out?
So the avatar system is there, so yeah, you can like select that resonates with you, and so that you're building your online version, your online avatar into the app. We ask you to give out your basic details, like when does your bill hit, when does your paycheck hit your bank account.
Mhm.
But if you are not comfortable sharing that, because we understand not everybody is comfortable sharing that, we have predefined scenarios as well if you're just here to learn and not share your details. And let's say you consider yourself that you are a massive saver,
Mhm.
like you like to save every penny you could. So there is a predetermined scenario called savers that you can go into that would give you questions based on your saving pattern, that you are more interested in saving rather than spending. So it will give you choices based on that. Versus say I consider myself an impulsive buyer, so it would give you an idea. You're walking
Yeah.
across a cafe, would you be interested in having a cappuccino or a flat white, something on those lines.
Yeah.
Versus if you are confident enough that you are happy to share your details and you would want to learn based on exactly your lifestyle, we give you a personalized version as well.
Mhm.
That's where you can feed in, like I get paid $1,000 on first each month,
Yeah.
and then my bills hit on the fifth, so electricity, rent hit on fifth, and then I go grocery shopping, say every Sunday. So you can just feed that information in, just putting in numbers like how often do you do that,
Yeah.
on which day do you do that, and that would automatically start. So you'll get points in your account. Let's say $1,000 came in, as your
Mhm.
job hit on the first.
Yeah.
But on the fifth, your expenses were due, so they would automatically go out. And you can see
Mhm.
how your money is growing. So on the face, we have four options there: savings, current account, emergency fund, and then
Okay.
your quality of life. Now, if say you want in life to be a saver and you don't want to spend on coffees, but if
Mhm.
you are doing it every single day, your quality of life will decrease.
Yeah.
So you can see a real life impact of your financial decision that you took
Um,
on your current account, on your savings, on your long term emergency fund,
oh, like
as well
on
as
all
your
those
quality of
sections.
life.
So
Yes.
they can move and up depending on the decision that you make and try to put.
Yes.
So a person that, for example, if I want to get like a coffee, then I just go to the coffee shop and then I put in the app, oh, I've spent, let's say, £4 on this, and then I'll see in real life what's changing and not with my.
What you said is the long term vision,
Oh,
so that to get it in.
yeah.
But for now, we give them case scenarios, because that would require another step of development to go into it. And we are still
Mhm.
researching, because that would
Mhm.
also require us to get permissions from banks and all,
Yeah.
just to get them connected so that we can see in real time how much
Mhm.
money is going out and how much is coming in. That is the second phase. But for
Mhm.
now, we give them case scenarios. So
Mhm.
that those case scenarios are personally prepared by myself and Rakshit, and we have put down in very detail to it that what do you think
Mhm.
if a new Nike sneaker is dropping out today and you are getting 25% off because of your uni days? Would
Yeah.
you be interested in buying that? That is a case scenario you might have in your head every time a new sneaker collection is launched.
Mhm.
So we have thought to the very detail what the people think, and we have sat down with hundreds of students from our uni, from our research, talk them where they would spend their money on, how they would live about, and those case scenarios can depict true image of what the people can resonate with.
Wow. So when you were building this MVP, how did you manage to know what features you should prioritize or not? Because as you said, this is like you were still in the first phase and building into the second one, but is there any direction you had for the first MVP that you're now and saying, oh, this is more important than this extension? How did you manage to go through that?
It's a very good question. So, because we had so many ideas, we wanted to touch upon budgeting, saving, investing, then further on stock market,
Mhm.
stock analysis, and then retirement planning. There is so much tax planning
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
do. But we thought we're gonna stick with one plan first that addresses a majority of audience, because not everyone is interested in investing. Not
Mhm.
everyone, like somebody is interested in just maintaining a emergency fund and keeping it safe rather than
Mhm.
growing it at an exponential rate, just that investing in a stock market or an ISA. Or people are not even
Yeah.
educated about a lot of the investment mechanism that we wanted to touch. So we decided for our MVP we would like to keep it simple in a way that it targets a majority of audience, and that's why we decided to go with our budgeting app first for our MVP.
Mhm.
And that is addressed in the MVP that we built with Loopsio.
Wow. Was there any difficult decision you, Rakshid or Omar had to make in order to like bring Finwise School forward? For example, I'm just saying that when you build a product, at the start you have like certain assumptions, but then when you start working on it, there's certain things that also fall apart. Um, oh, I was just wondering if you came through any of that too with Finwise School.
There were, to be really honest. So, like with the avatar system, we wanted the person can actually customize their own avatar according to their needs,
Like their hair
like we
color.
do it. Yeah,
Mhm.
like we do it
Okay.
for in Snapchat
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Bitmoji. So like we wanted to do that, but because
Yeah.
that was increasing our cost of first MVP a lot, we decided to go with already made up avatars so
Mhm.
that they just have to go and select and they cannot make it. We thought that just adding a bit of customization to choosing your own avatar can be like you can resonate with your avatar
Mhm.
even more and you can get indulged into the game even more than you would. But that was one of a very difficult decision. I was like, I don't want to cut that, but then Rakshata Namar
Wow.
was like, we are not able to make it up in this particular cost. And that was one of, and not even just that, like we wanted to show real life updates in a particular, like let's say you took a financial decision. What I really wanted was there should be a pop-up coming after every time you make a decision that
Mhm.
this decision has impacted your score in such a way that your quality of life has improved,
Yeah.
but your let's say your account has gone down. But that was not able, that we were not able to incorporate into this particular app, and that is something we have kept for the next phase of development. So
Wow.
there were a lot of difficult decisions. These are just to name a few,
Yeah.
but it was a trade-off between us going live just now or just pushing it
Yeah.
for another round of money that we can get and build it over it. But yeah, there were.
Oh, wow. Did you ever think that there would be like this much like balance and sacrifice between like your idea and then money? Because money is a constraint. You have the idea where you know what you're going to do. So what how do you organize yourself and how do you keep pushing yourself forward when do you have like these restrictions?
It's a very interesting question because as a startup founder, we have faced so many rejections. Like at one point in time, you don't have the energy to get up, sit on your laptop, work again,
Yeah.
but you still do that. You don't have the energy to go to a networking event so that you can connect with the potential partners or investors,
Mhm.
but you still go ahead and do that. That comes like with great work comes great responsibility. That's just very
Yeah.
shortly said. And it's like to fulfill that it's very big time, and you
Mhm.
have got those responsibility. You have to sacrifice your personal life, you
Yeah.
have to sacrifice like the social plans or the get-togethers with old friends. That's always a sacrifice that comes in behind. But talking about business within itself, you have to make so many sacrifices because something that was so close to your heart, like
Mhm.
let's say a feature that was so close to
Yes.
your heart in the app, you have to let it go because that
Yeah.
does not make economic sense, economically feasible for you to
Yeah.
get it out. So even in personal and professional life, like being a startup co-founder has taught us the value of sacrifice, and more importantly it has taught us the virtue of patience, which does not come very easily.
Also being international founder and just how has it been like dealing with all of this too when you have a great idea and it's being supported.
So because we are both on our visas, we do not have access to public funds, so that's a whole set of access that we could have gained to develop an application within the country using the country's resources has
Mm.
all gone. Uh, I think I've mentioned it before to you. I'll share it for the users. We got our first round of grant, but the second round of grant was rejected just based on because they did not check our visa in the first level.
Oh.
And that's something that has happened on a very regular basis with us. We have reached out. There were so many like funds that we could have gained access to, but just because we are an international candidate, we just do not get access to it. So that is one of the biggest constraint
Mhm.
I think I have faced personally, because I am the one who is on a regular basis reaching out to people
Yeah.
and giving them their idea. It's and the feedback the majorly I get is it sounds all great, but we do not. And
Yeah.
that but is where the visa and international barriers come in. And
Mhm.
I know I'm not sure if everybody can relate to it, but I know for a fact that your international audience would definitely relate to it because everybody
Mhm.
has felt this, faced this one day or the other.
Yeah. And do you think that this has shaped the pace of Finwise School? Do you think that if you had like full access to these grants, do you think um, you would have gone through one phase to another faster?
Absolutely, 100% yes. Uh, because see, for us, we do not have access to any public funds or anything. We have to do our full-time jobs and then build Finwise on the top of it.
Mm-hmm.
And just like working 45 hours, 45 hours a week, and then coming back home, working 20, 30 hours on Finwise already affects the pace we are working on. If
True.
we were working on it full time, say 40, 50 hours, which we don't mind because we are really passionate about it,
Yeah.
that would be such a great help, and the development would have been so much faster versus where we are just now. We are like moving at the pace of a tortoise.
Mm,
I know tortoise do win the race, and hopefully,
mm.
touch wood, we might
Yeah.
also
The
be.
tortoise
But
wins the bunny.
yeah,
Yeah.
but we are really, really slow in what we are developing. Like it took us almost almost 2 years, over 2 years now,
Mhm.
just to complete our first phase. Had we been working on this full time, we would have
Mm.
been able to achieve that in less than half a time.
Yeah. Do you think that working with Lupsio has helped you being guided in this journey also? Like when you were talking the idea with Omar and Rashid, and then you started to realize these kind of sacrifices that had to be made. Was it helpful?
Absolutely. So, because we both do not come from tech background, we both, I
Mhm.
come from a full on finance
Yeah.
background. Rakshit comes from a shared psychology and finance background, so behavioral finance. So, we
Mm.
both come from quite different fields, but nothing related to technology.
Yeah.
So, Omar was our guiding torch in developing
Mhm.
the app because we had such big ideas. And when we sat down, he was like, he used to talk us senses into us, saying that this is not something that is economically feasible as well as technologically feasible
Yeah.
for us to do at this point in time. And Loopsio has helped us in a way. There were two other gentlemen that were working with us alongside Omar.
Yeah.
Those were very good help to us. And the team in itself was like a family in such. We all
Oh.
used to get on a on a Zoom call
Yeah.
every Thursday and just talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
And Rakshit was the one who used to lead those meetings, and he would be like, we had questions, we had doubts, we had
Mm-hmm.
decisions to make,
Yeah.
and Omar was guiding us through it, and so was the team. So it was a really great help, I must say.
Wow. What was your favorite moment just working in such a collaborative environment? Do you have any
The
highlights of working with Finwise School, but also with Loopsio, like building it? The features, as you said, the priorities, the sacrifices you made. Is there anything that still is in your mind? You think, wow, actually, I really like doing this.
the launch of the app.
Oh,
So it was such an wholesome
yeah,
moment for us because the day Omar and team handed us over that this is the app that we have built, and the first time we tested it, it took a lot of testing, but the
yeah.
first testing always holds a very special moment in our hearts, because we were going through the app for the first time. It was like our baby has come to life.
Oh,
It
yeah,
was a very wholesome moment, and they have been such a great support throughout the journey. So I must say, the first time we got our app, even though it was unofficial, but when we got first time we
yeah,
downloaded it in our phones and we were
yeah.
running through it, it was a very wholesome moment for both of us.
Wow, just like seeing your idea being like tangible and you
Yes.
seeing how, oh, this is the feature that I talked about for four
Yes.
hours and now it's here for people to use. Um, that must be
Exactly.
like
And
so fulfilling. Yeah.
yes, it was so fulfilling. And just to add on, it was because everything was in our head. and
Mm-hmm.
we used to sit in meetings. I used to give Rakshit like so much of whiteboard charts and like
Yeah.
just making mind maps that this should do this and this should do this. And then Rakshit was able to convey that to Omar and to the team, and then they were able to bring that to life, because
Yeah.
once the what was just a vision was actually live. So the first time we got that apps in our phone, that was a really fulfilling moment for both of us.
Oh, that sounds amazing and so exciting for the second phase because if you felt such like adrenaline happiness with the first launch, now you can see what features you can add, how can you refine this, right?
Yes.
Um, so I was just thinking about the testing. Last time we met, you mentioned that you tested in libraries. Uh,
Yes.
can you like dig me through this again so that people know like, oh, why libraries, right?
Absolutely. So, because we want to touch base on the people, our target audience is the people who are just moving out of high school to uni, or from uni to their full time jobs. Our like it is so difficult to get onto the audience directly, because we can go to schools, but private schools do not have that kind of budget. And even though they have, they are going to charge the parents, and that is a very messy space we did not want to enter just now, because given the VAT being implemented and everything, the cost has gone
Mhm.
up. The public schools are already underfunded, and in order to go into one public school, we have to approach the council so that the council can implement it into all of the schools within their jurisdiction.
Mhm.
That is such a difficult way to go into it, us being outsider without any internal connections. It's really difficult for us to get the things moving within the system
Yeah.
for us. And it was all becoming so challenging. We have reached out to so many like high high school head
Mhm.
teachers, their vice head teachers,
Yeah.
but just getting that sort of approval that we are okay for you to come and
Mhm.
help our kids learn about financial literacy, which they should be doing.
Yeah.
But it's just been a challenge that we as a society are facing here. So we decided, we took a absolutely parallel approach. We reached out to the local libraries, and those local libraries, so we used to put out, because the libraries are very much interested in making themselves look alive on the weekends when people are not usually there, so that people come to the libraries. We decided we're going to launch workshops in collaboration with them, so
Mhm.
that they can get us the students, and we can take a session for them within their library. Also, the app, that the current phase we are in, it's best for us because they need guidance to go through the
Mhm.
app, even though there is a tutorial available, but not everybody likes to go through tutorials.
Yeah, they want
So
to be
we
taught in person, right?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's why we thought, and a closed room testing would be the best approach. So
Mm.
now we reach out to local libraries, who then reach out to local schools library, and we get our advert within the schools. And that's how like students who are interested in learning about financial literacy, and
Mhm.
we try to keep the topics more general rather than being specific, so that we can
Mhm.
attract more people. Because, like, just to give you a bit of an example,
Yeah.
once we launched uh, a workshop that was about budgeting, more people showed up versus when we did a workshop for credit score,
Yeah.
like how to build your credit score. A fewer people showed up because people don't know about credit score. How would
Yeah.
they be
And the
interested in
word
coming?
just feels so daunting, right? Budgeting is a word that people just use every day. Oh, I need to budget. I need to like control like how I spend my money. But credit score just seems like so far, right? Budget is accessible. Credit score is just like, oh, I need to learn so much for this. I'm scared. Yeah.
Exactly that. And that's why we try to keep it general. And when the school students come to us, we teach them,
Yeah.
they go back and they start talking to their peers, they start
Mhm.
talking to their teachers, and that's gets the word moving within the
Yeah.
schools. And that's how we have been trying to go within the schools to That's the first part of how we are addressing. Now, coming to the universities, universities also follow a very rigid system of getting into the university just to deliver those workshops. So instead of going directly into the unis, we decided to go with the clubs. So
Oh, the societies
the
in the
societies,
university. Oh,
and we can get like word going within the university as well. So that's the two approaches we are following just now, so that we can get test testimonies and testing done
yeah.
for the first phase, so that we can get their very active feedback on what the people, actually the users, feels that they should be doing, and
Mm.
then taking a step forward in that direction.
Wow, that just sounds so fascinating. Have you talked to like schools already? Thanks to the libraries, have you reached out to people in schools?
Initial conversations, yes, but in order to finalize it, it's a very long process, so we're
Oh,
still in the process, in the
oh,
pipelines.
wow. So even if they're interested, there's things that they're not within your or their control then.
Yeah, because like it costs money, and to do workshops, to get the resources out to
Mm.
people, to students, and that's what the constraint comes in. Although there is something known as a PEP fund, so that is for like pupil education.
Mm-hmm.
So like schools can use that
Yeah.
to get the workshops done for their students, but it requires a level of approval with the head teacher, then the committee. So it is a longer process. We are in initial conversations, somewhere intermediate conversations,
Yeah.
but nothing has finalized yet.
Yeah, well, best of luck with that. But
Thank you.
with the people that you tested in the library, then, um, did any of your first like assumptions of how people would react to Finwise School change? For example, did you expect people to come less with the credit score workshop and people to come more with the budgeting? Is there anything else that stood out to you, from teaching to people?
By giving workshops, because see, we both come from finance backgrounds, so
Mhm.
what we think are basics are not actually basics for everyone else, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
Like for me, knowing about credit score is normal, but
yeah.
people don't know about it. For
Mm,
me, putting aside 20% of your paycheck just for future planning is normal, but it
yeah.
is not for people.
Mm,
And those were really myths that we were living in that got busted while taking those workshops within. And we were like, a 16-year-old who's ready to move out from their house don't know how he is gonna manage his money. Like,
mhm.
even though he is just gonna get his allowance and any part-time he does, 1,500 pound, how can he or she
Yeah.
be looking for of 800 pound flat? Like, that does not make financial
Mm.
sense, because you
Yeah.
have to spend on transportation, food,
Yeah.
electricity, everything.
Mhm.
So that's the kind of trade off. Just talking about budgeting, we were thinking that that is self explanatory and people are already educated about it, but that was not there. And
Mm.
that's something we learned. So the after our first workshop we took, we came back, we revised our workshop material in a way that we are covering from the very basic. If
Mm.
somebody knows it, it's good for them, it's just a
Yeah.
revision, or like going again over
Yeah.
it quickly for them. But if somebody does not know it, we need to let them know. And that was
Mm.
a feedback that we took for with us for our phase 2 development, because not everybody knows the basics as well. And that was something that we were not under the impression of. And it really showed us the mirror in that ways.
Wow. Yeah, because even when you enter Finwise School, is there a feature where you can say, "Oh, I'm a beginner, I'm a intermediate or advanced," so that it's also
Yes.
tailored towards that?
Mhm.
Wow.
Yes, that's exactly what we were thinking. Like, I'm brilliant at my basics. I am. moving towards my intermediate level of education, and then I am a pro in finance. So because we keep our language very much Gen Z and Gen Alpha centric
Mhm.
in the app, so that they can relate to it much more, and that's why we were thinking on these lines, like, you want to be a pro or you are just a rookie.
Yeah.
So we were trying to phrase it in that way.
Oh, it's just you're taking so much into account, like all their vocabulary, also the little details like the avatar, the rewards. Um, do you think like how do people react to that? We talked about assumptions now, but what was the overall reaction of Finwise School? Was it positive? Was there anything that made you think more? Any features? Like, what was the overall impression of it?
So everyone we have talked to, uh, I'm counting my mentors, my college lecturers, whom we have portrayed our idea to, the investors, the potential investors. Everybody has agreed to a point that this is very, very much needed. And
Mm,
everybody can relate to it because nobody was taught about financial literacy in their schools.
yeah.
Every, like, seniorly people or elderly people who have their kids in like teenage, they would say that, oh, I see my kid making the same mistake as I have, and
Mm,
I try to explain them, but there's nothing I can do to teach them actually,
yeah.
rather than them making their own mistakes. We have had people saying that I feel so overwhelmed about money that I have to spend like 50 pounds on one thing. I would rather go and spend 2 pounds each day. And we're like, you're spending 50 once, but 2 pounds every day is 60. And he's like, I never thought it through.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of things that we thought was something that we need to address. And considering our app development and the people that have come back to us, everybody agrees on
Mm,
what needs to be done here. Like,
mhm,
there is a need for it. There is just one bit of a thin line that we are like on the side of the line, saying that we are a little bit on an we start from an intermediate level. I think of in the next phase of development we would be starting from the very basics, so that
mhm.
everybody can learn. And like, just like you mentioned,
Yeah.
getting them divided into levels would be helpful. So that's something we were thinking on the lines of as well.
And I'm sure that you have like a lot on top of this. You said you're working full time, then you're probably tired. You're reaching to funds and grants. Um, what makes you keep going despite all of these barriers and constraints?
I Because I personally, and Rakshit in his personal life, we
Mhm.
have seen, as in our childhood, our families go through the struggle of financial constraint, one wrong financial decision impacting our childhood. That is something which we have faced first-handedly in both of our lives, different
Mhm.
experience, but on the same
Yeah.
lines. It has made us so passionate about this topic
Yeah.
that we want to do to address this problem globally. I know people are working towards it, and I hope there are more and more startups in such field.
Yeah.
They be competition, but they are more than that. They are educating the world. Some people which we might not be able to tap in, they would be, and we
Mhm.
can make a world a better financially educated place, so that not any child in the future has to go through what we went through just because of that one small financial decision that
Yeah.
our parents' parents,
Mhm.
grandparents made a wrong decision
Yeah.
for. So that, because each and everything adds up, and that we have seen personally, that is the fuel that keeps us going,
Hmm.
I
Like
must
trying
say.
to break this generational like
Good.
lack of
Yes.
financial literacy. Wow.
Yes.
And I know that a lot of people have startups idealized. They think it's so fun and like exciting to build something of your own from scratch. But do you think that people should also understand um, founders from the international perspective and also from underrepresented backgrounds? What do you think people should know about this if they want to like start their own venture?
Building a business is boring. I can say that for a fact. If you think that it is fascinating, but what you hear as a perspective, when I tell you that what you heard in the last 40 minutes is has been actually my last 2.5 years,
Mm-hmm.
you see the pace we are moving at. And that's what building a business is boring, because you have to get, you not only do the fancy bit, you
Yeah.
just sit behind the screen, you are working on spreadsheets, you are working on excel files and powerpoint presentations. It is boring. Like, I am going out to a presentation where I'm talking about Finwise School. There has already a lot of blood, tear, sweat
Yeah.
gone into it. That it is really boring, I must say. Given it's really fascinating to
Yeah.
come on a talk about what I have been doing or what people can do, but taking a step backwards, looking from the person's perspective, it can be like isolating,
Mm-hmm.
although you would be getting out talking to a lot of people, but it can be lonely as well,
Mm. Wow.
because you're building on your own. It
Yeah.
is
You, even if,
self-isolating, yes.
yeah, at least you have a co-founder in this case where you can like share your happiness, your sorrow,
Yes,
I guess. But yeah, it's probably like it takes a lot of mental strength and work to just keep pushing forward, right? Yeah.
exactly. And I'll share you a very small incident. So back in August, we had 6 line of sources of funding that we were expecting, grants I'm talking about.
Mhm.
And we were on the final stage for all 6 of them. Like, I represented Finwise School in, like, as a finalist in few of the events. We have been like presenting over Zoom calls, in person meetings. And that one particular month we hit six failures, like 6 rejections.
Yeah.
And both of us were so mentally exhausted at that point in time. And like, September was so slow for us
Mm-hmm.
that we were not having the energy to go back to work again. And we never realized that both of us were hitting depression at that point in time, but it was so daunting for us.
Yeah.
And getting back in October, then going representing in Inspire 100, that was like, it really takes strength,
Yeah.
and it takes more than just willingness to do. You have to push yourself to the extent
Yeah.
that you would have not done academically or in your job life.
It must be such an emotional roller coaster. Is there anything you learned specifically about yourself through this journey?
I have learned to accept failures, and I have
Mm.
learned to learn from the failures, I must say. Because, like, before starting Finwise School, I have always been an academically very
Yeah.
strong student. Uh, I haven't really faced failure as
Because you know
such.
that if you put the work, something good is going to happen, that you're gonna have success immediately. Did you have this
Exactly.
presumption before?
Exactly. Like, if you wanted a uni to go to, you got in. Then
Yeah.
you wanted to your masters, you got in. You wanted to work in a company, you got in.
Yeah.
And then like, I got my first hands on experience on failure from in the startup, and it has taught me the virtue of patience. I personally was a very impatient person, and I just want to get things done. It has
Yeah.
taught me the virtue of patience, I must say.
Wow. And just to end, as an end note, is there any advice that you would give to young people that are feeling intimidated by finance?
It's
And
not rocket science. Financial literacy is not rocket science. It is not overwhelming. You just have to get your numbers right. You need to think where you are spending. And if you think twice of whether is it a good decision or not, it is not. Because if you have to think about it twice or thrice, it's probably not a good option for it. And a trick that I do is I add to cart and I next day I review it. Do I still need it? If yes, then I
Mhm.
go and buy it.
Yeah.
If not, then it's not a need. Don't spend your early money, like your early hands on money, on any fascinating things. Not that I'm saying that you should not live a life, you should
Mhm.
definitely. But if do not get intermediate by finance, it is not rocket science. That is what I would say to them.
Oh, that's very great advice. I'll also take it because I never received any financial literacy, even in high school. We're divided, I think, as I mentioned, in different school branches. So I did the technology one and I never received any economic knowledge in high school. I had to decide and go to summer school one day just to learn more about economics. But I feel like they still, in that sense, it's very theoretical. It's not, it doesn't really teach you about um, real life spendings. So what kind of future do you think you hope to exist for financial education? Do you hope that it's going to be available for everyone?
It should be, and we would be trying our very best to get it into the schools, starting from the UK and then making a change worldwide. Because financial literacy is a life skill that needs to be taught in school, no matter which field the person decides to go in. They would be dealing with money,
Mm-hmm.
and the system also get benefits out of people not being educated about finance.
Mm-hmm.
But it needs to stop because everyone, it is a life skill, and I cannot emphasize it much more than I already have in the last 1 hour. Financial literacy is a necessity, and we have to get it into the schools, just like any other subject like social science,
Mm-hmm.
science, mathematics. Financial literacy needs to be one on the curriculum.
Oh, we're reaching kind of the end of the podcast, but I would just like to say that it's been amazing to hear, and I hope that the people watching this have learned about your experience as a founder, White Finwise School, and also its features, the work, and also making them excited to use Finwise School and open their way into learning more about financial literacy. And
Mhm.
it's been great to have you. So thank you so much for explaining all of this.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure.